Here's a hard truth most men don't want to hear. When a woman starts pulling away, the majority of men react in ways that actually push her even further. They think they're fixing things, but what they're really doing is killing the attraction that was left. The moment she pulls back, most guys panic. They start over-texting, over-explaining, or begging for clarity. Some try to guilt her into staying close, while others go into full chase mode, thinking more effort will somehow change her mind. But here's the uncomfortable reality. When you do that, you only confirm to her that she made the right decision to lose interest. Because desperation never looks attractive. When a woman pulls away, it's not the end, but it is a test. She's testing her feelings, testing your strength, and testing whether you're a man she can respect. The way you respond in that moment says more about you than anything you said during the good times. If you respond with panic, neediness, or pressure, you lose. But if you respond with calm, self-control, and confidence, you flip the script. You stop looking like the man who needs her approval and start looking like the man who values himself. And that difference changes everything. Today, we're breaking down the 5 biggest mistakes men make when a girl pulls away. The ones you must avoid at all costs if you want to keep your power and give her a reason to come back with more interest. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, this is where we talk about female psychology, attraction, and how to stop sabotaging yourself in dating. So stick around, because once you understand these mistakes, you'll see why most men fail, and how you can stand out. 1. Chasing her when she pulls back. One of the most common mistakes men make when a woman starts pulling away is that they instantly go into chase mode. Think about it. She slows down her replies, stops showing the same excitement, or suddenly seems too busy. Instead of noticing the change and holding their ground, most guys respond by doubling their effort. They start sending more texts, trying to call, asking if something's wrong, or even showing up where she hangs out just to bump into her. In their mind, they're trying to save the connection. But in her mind, it feels like pressure. Imagine this. You're talking to a girl, things have been good, and then all of a sudden she stops responding the way she used to. Instead of waiting and giving her space, you blow up her phone with, "Hey, did I do something wrong?" Or, "Why are you ignoring me?" That energy doesn't pull her closer. It confirms she's right to pull away. Here's what a woman actually feels in that moment. When you chase harder, she feels smothered. She sees you as insecure and desperate for validation. Attraction thrives on space, not pressure. If she pulls back and you immediately chase, she loses respect. And once respect drops, attraction usually follows. The better move? Step back. Match her energy. If she's slowing down, you slow down too. If she's creating distance, you give her that distance. This doesn't mean ignoring her or playing childish games. It means showing you're not afraid to live your life, even if she's acting different. A man who doesn't panic when a woman pulls away communicates strength. He's saying, without words, "I don't need to chase you to feel good about myself." That calm confidence is what makes her question her decision and often pulls her back in. 2. Over-explaining and talking too much. Another mistake men make when a woman pulls away is over-explaining themselves. When she starts to act distant, many guys feel the urge to talk their way back into her interest. They send long texts explaining how they feel, why they like her, how they didn't mean to upset her, or even giving speeches about where things are going. Now let's be real. Do you think that kind of energy makes her want to lean back in? Not at all. What she sees is a man trying to convince her to stay, and that makes him look like he's on shaky ground. Instead of feeling attraction, she feels like she's in control. And the moment she feels that, the dynamic flips. Men forget that women don't pull away because of a lack of words. It's never about how many paragraphs you send, or how many "I miss you" texts you can write. It's about the way she feels around you. If the vibe is off, words won't fix it. In fact, the more you try to explain yourself, the more it feels like begging for her approval. Think about it. When was the last time a long, desperate text rekindled attraction? It doesn't happen. Attraction is emotional, not logical. You can't talk her into feeling something she's drifting away from. The stronger play is to keep it simple. If she pulls back, match that energy without a long speech. If she doesn't respond right away, you don't need to explain why you're still interested. A short, confident reply carries far more weight than an essay trying to justify yourself. The man who can stay calm, say less, and avoid over-explaining sends a powerful signal. He's basically saying, I'm good with or without your validation. That's the type of energy women respect and chase, because it shows control, maturity, and self-assurance. So, instead of falling into the trap of talking too much, let silence and your actions do the work. Less is more. Less. 3. Smothering her with attention. When a woman starts to pull away, a lot of guys do the exact opposite of what works. They double down on attention. They start calling more, texting more, wanting to hang out all the time, and constantly checking in to see what's wrong. On the surface, it seems like the right move. If I just show her how much I care, she'll come back. But in reality, that only pushes her further away. Here's why. When she's pulling back, she's looking for space. Maybe she's unsure about her feelings, maybe she's testing you, or maybe she just wants to see how you'll react. If you rush in and smother her with attention, she doesn't feel your value. She feels your neediness. And neediness is the fastest way to drain attraction. Think about it. If she's distancing herself and you respond by chasing harder, what message are you sending? You're telling her that she's the prize and you're the one desperate to hold on. That flips the dynamic in a way that makes her lose respect. Women don't want to feel like you have nothing going on besides them. They want to feel like they're drawn into your world, not like you're clinging onto theirs. The key is balance. If she's stepping back, you don't need to fill that gap with extra attention. You hold your ground, keep living your life, and let her feel the absence. That space is what creates curiosity and pulls her back in. A man who can resist the urge to overinvest when she withdraws is a man who communicates strength without saying a word. And trust me, women notice it. When you don't smother her, she starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Why does he seem so calm? That shift makes her rethink pulling away, and often it brings her right back to you. So instead of pouring on more attention when she's slipping, step back, focus on yourself, and let her feel the difference. 4. Getting emotional and overreacting. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a girl pulls away is letting emotions run the show. It's natural to feel anxious, frustrated, or even insecure when you sense her drifting. But the problem starts when those feelings spill out in the wrong way. Angry texts, emotional outbursts, or constant, we need to talk messages. What you have to understand is this. The moment you overreact, you confirm her doubts. If she was questioning your confidence, your stability, or whether you can handle challenges, seeing you fall apart under a little pressure answers it for her, and not in your favor. Think of it from her perspective. If she pulls back a little and you immediately spiral into panic, it signals to her that your emotions depend entirely on her approval. That doesn't feel attractive or safe. It feels heavy. It makes her want even more distance. The strongest move you can make in that moment is to stay calm. Not cold, not rude, but composed. When she senses you're in control of yourself, even when things feel uncertain, it sets you apart. That calmness tells her, this man doesn't need me to validate him. He's solid with or without me. Women pay attention to that. A man who doesn't lose his center when she pulls away is rare. Most guys let their fear dictate their actions, and it ends up driving her further away. But if you can resist the urge to overreact, if you can stay cool while she's distant, it creates the exact opposite effect. She starts questioning herself instead of questioning you. Attraction thrives on respect, and respect comes from composure. So the next time you feel her pulling away, don't let your emotions control the wheel. Take a breath, slow down, and remind yourself, you don't win her back by panicking. You win her back by staying grounded. 5. Chasing harder. When she pulls back. This is probably the most common mistake men make when a girl starts pulling away. They immediately turn up the effort. They text more, call more, plan surprises, ask questions like, "What's wrong?" or "Did I do something?" All with the hope of pulling her back in. But here's the thing, the harder you chase, the further she runs. Picture it like this. A woman starts pulling back after a few weeks of dating. She stops texting first. She seems busy. Maybe she's not as affectionate. Instead of noticing the shift and taking a step back, the guy panics. He sends her good morning texts every single day, checks in with, "Hey, how's your day going?" 3 times before lunch, and keeps asking when they can see each other again. From his perspective, he's showing care and trying to fix the situation. From her perspective, it feels overwhelming. It doesn't make her feel closer. It makes her feel smothered. And when a woman feels smothered, she pulls away even harder. What he should have done is simple. Match her energy. If she pulls back, you don't double down. You hold your ground. You let her create the space she's signaling she wants. And when she realizes you're not chasing, not begging, not overinvesting, it forces her to reflect on whether she actually wants to lose you. The irony is, giving her space often brings her back faster than trying to convince her to stay. It makes her wonder, wait a second, why isn't he chasing me? Does he not care as much as I thought? That curiosity reignites attraction way more than over-pursuing ever will. So the lesson here is simple. Don't run after her when she's walking away. Stand still. If she values you, she'll turn back. If she doesn't, you'll know. And you won't have wasted your time begging for someone's attention who was never fully invested in you. 6. Trying to control the outcome. When a girl pulls away, a lot of men instinctively try to fix the situation by controlling it. They start asking for clarity, pushing for answers, or trying to lock her down with conversations like, "Where do you see this going?" Or, "We need to figure this out right now." On the surface, it might seem like the mature thing to do, but in reality, it often makes things worse. Here's why. Attraction and connection aren't built through pressure. They grow in freedom. When you try to control the outcome, even with good intentions, it doesn't make her feel secure. It makes her feel trapped. And when a woman feels trapped, she doesn't lean in. She pulls back even more. Think about it. If she's already unsure about her feelings, pushing her into a conversation about commitment or trying to convince her why she should stay will only highlight her doubts. Instead of remembering why she liked you in the first place, she's now focused on the pressure you're putting on her. That pressure creates resistance. What actually works is the opposite. Detachment. Not in a cold or careless way, but in a way that shows her you're not desperate for control. You're okay with however things play out, because you know your value doesn't depend on her decision. That kind of calm confidence changes the dynamic completely. When you stop trying to force an outcome, she feels the space to choose you willingly. And that's powerful. Because a woman who chooses you out of genuine desire, not guilt, not pressure, not persuasion, will always invest more deeply. So, if she's pulling away, don't fall into the trap of forcing answers or chasing clarity. Instead, focus on your own center. Let her see that you're a man who doesn't need to control everything to feel secure. That's what draws her back. Not your attempts to manage the situation, but your ability to stand strong without needing to. 7. Forgetting to put yourself first. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a girl pulls away is putting her needs, her emotions, and her decisions above their own sense of self. It's almost like they hand over the keys to their confidence and say, "Here, you decide how valuable I am." That's a dangerous place to be, because the second your sense of worth depends on her attention, you've already lost control of yourself. Think about it. When she pulls back, you start neglecting your own priorities. You cancel plans with friends just in case she texts. You stop focusing on your work or your goals because your mind is consumed with what she's doing. You let your own life shrink, and in doing that, you lose the very qualities that made you attractive to her in the first place. A woman doesn't respect a man who abandons himself for her. She respects the man who can care for her, but never at the expense of his own values, his own purpose, or his own growth. If you make her the center of your world, she'll quickly realize she doesn't want to be there. It's too much pressure, and it signals weakness, not strength. This is where you need to take a step back and remind yourself, her pulling away is not the end of your world. It's not a signal for you to abandon your own path. If anything, it's the moment you double down on yourself. You focus harder on your health, your goals, your relationships outside of her. You show her, and more importantly, you show yourself, that you are not a man who loses himself just because a woman is unsure. If she comes back, great. If she doesn't, you're still winning because you didn't put your life on pause for her. That's the difference between men who stay attractive long-term and men who crumble the moment things get shaky. So don't forget this. No matter what happens with her, you must always put yourself first. Here's the reality. When a girl starts pulling away, most men panic. They get reactive, emotional, and start doing all the things that quietly kill attraction. But the truth is, pulling away doesn't always mean it's over. Sometimes it's just her way of testing if you're really the kind of man who stands solid, even when the situation feels uncertain. The men who lose themselves in those moments, who chase harder, beg for reassurance, or put her on a pedestal, end up proving her doubts right. But the men who stay grounded, who keep their focus on themselves, and who don't hand over their self-worth, those are the men she respects. Those are the men she reconsiders. And here's a thought that might sting a little. If her interest is so fragile that it collapses the moment you stop chasing, then maybe she wasn't really into you in the first place. Sometimes her pulling away isn't about you failing. It's about her showing you where she stands. And that's something you should pay attention to, instead of fighting against. So my advice? Stop fearing her distance. Let her show you who she is, while you continue showing up as a man who knows his own value. That shift alone changes everything. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a girl pulling away? What did you do, and how did it play out? Drop your story in the comments.